underlying principles of this bill and get back to the things that will make a difference.
I call Tim McIndoe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm pleased to take a call in this part of the debate because I care so passionately about those underlying principles of this bill. In fact, I care passionately about this issue and I feel so strongly that it is the right thing to do. So I want to look just at a few of the comments that we've heard already from Ms. Ardern. We had concern expressed that somehow imposing work testing on young people who are the focus of this bill is inappropriate or unreasonable, and I want to suggest to her that was the focus of your initial comments, Ms. Ardern, and I struggle to understand why the Labour Party, the modern Labour Party, would in any way oppose such an arrangement as work testing. At least Ms. Ardern didn't use that word punitive that's been thrown at us in previous stages of this debate over and over again. Ms. Ardern gave us a deeply theoretical approach, and I listened to it with some interest, but she was largely imagining problems that might occur at some future date, rather than focusing on the overwhelming problems that confront us right now, and which this bill is all about. Because this bill is much more than simply about tweaking systems. And I think that's a phrase that she also used. It's about confronting major challenges, setting out clear expectations, and providing substantial, determined and wide-ranging support to those who are currently caught in the trap of long-term welfare dependency, and especially, as the Minister emphasised, those who are at the beginning, standing right on the cliff, about perhaps to lurch down that path. And those young people need our support. This bill is all about providing that support. It's one of the reasons why I care so much about it. The Minister, when she spoke, told us about the reality of life for those young people who have been the primary focus of much of what is in this part of the bill. And she acknowledged that, yes, it's very expensive confronting those challenges. In the budget, a substantial sum of money has been committed to dealing with it. But the cost of not doing so is almost beyond calculation. And it's measured just as much, if not more, in human terms as it is financially. And that's why we must not shy away from what needs to be done. The Minister's approach is determined, it's realistic, and it's compassionate, because she's not being soft or naive. It's because she wants so much better for these young people. And when I read part one of this bill, Mr. Chairman, I see provisions that are practical and contemporary. They are measures that confront life as it is for far too many people in my electorate and in our communities right around the country. And they assert, as this government does, and as I am proud to do, that we can and must do so much better if we're to guide our vulnerable youth into further education and training, and positive parenting, and effective budgeting, and so much more. And I believe, Mr. Chair, that that determination is understood and supported in our communities. When I'm out and about talking in my electorate, meeting with people in low decile areas, social service providers and various agencies, they're not telling me, turn back, you've got this wrong. By and large, those who are at the coalface are saying, yes, this needs to be done. Thank you for finally confronting a challenge that has been overlooked for far too long. And they are not flooding our offices with emails and phone calls saying this is wrong. In fact, it's quite intriguing to note how little opposition there has been to date. We thought this was going to be controversial. Of course, we encountered at the Select Committee some objections, but by and large, it isn't controversial out there. It's not controversial out in our communities because the public know this needs to happen. The objections have been few and far between. And as I say, those who work with vulnerable youth at the coalface know that we need to support their efforts and the young people they work alongside. And I then listened to Ms. Logie. Now, none of the concerns that Jan Logie spoke of in respect of education or refugees' experiences and so on negate the value of the measures in this bill. And I did listen carefully, but I simply cannot comprehend how she could conclude that this bill undermines the human rights of those it is designed to assist.
Calling Tracy Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise to speak to clause